Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you could join us today for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important information. I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you've wanted to blow things up, that you have blown things up, and that you're saying that 4 million of us are going to die and we need martial law and the Associated Press at one of your little drills you had, and that we're aware of who the terrorists are if you pull this. This can stop this Hitlerian Reichstag event. I want to put the toll-free number up for Congress. And I won't want you to believe Alex Jones. I want you to go get these news stories off my website. I want you to call these major newspapers. I want you to find out these statements were true by the White House about preparing for martial law. And I want you to let them know that if there is any terrorism, we know who to blame. The point is, if any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite. He's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system. I want the White House numbers up there now. A big part of this solution, after you research all the government terrorism and check out what I'm saying is true, call the White House and tell them, we know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City and World Trade Center was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame.
They're coming for you. October is only a few days away. They're saying their operation launches November 4th. That's probably a diversion. I think the attack's coming in the middle of October. That's just looking at all the pieces. But there'll be something that happens right before that. A mass shooting at a school, a bombing of a federal building, maybe more, pinned on a right-wing patsy. If you want to stop these folks, you got to be basically eyes and ears. And they're going to hit at night. They're going to start at about 10 o'clock at night. You got to be waiting on them 2 to 3 days after. I don't think they're going to change their operation. This is too tried and true. You got to be waiting for them, ladies and gentlemen. They may also do it in cities they control, as they know the police chief will be involved in it and will order basically a stand down. He's been saying he thinks they're going to do an attack on the NFL for really over a year. He says that's why they're making it political, to make it a leftist target. Then they're going to attack it probably with a high-powered rifle, arcing the shots in. But he said they might have attacks on right-wingers first, so then when they attack the left, they claim it's a response to that to get a civil war going.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and everything seems normal when it's not.
We've been told by several investigative agencies that the man they believe fired these shots is 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, S-T-E-P-H-E-N Paddock, P-A-D-D-O-C-K, of Mesquite, Nevada. The authorities are now searching his house in Mesquite. They have told us, and the databases indicate this as well, that the woman they're looking for, Mary Lou Danley, lived with him. We don't know what their relationship was, but the police described her as the companion or roommate. They were apparently living together. We don't know for how long. We believe she is 62. You had asked me earlier whether he was known to the authorities. I have not heard any federal authorities say that he was known to them, but I'm told that he did have a criminal past and was known to local law enforcement in Nevada. What that criminal past is, I don't know at this point, but apparently his name was familiar to them. This doesn't help answer the big question here of why